Hi, my name is Lauren Boswell, and today I will be introducing you all to Dr. Montrose M. Wolfe. Dr. Wolfe was born in Houston, Texas. He is a revered psychologist, and his innovative research methods and findings led him to become one of the founding fathers of applied behavior analysis. Montrose, pictured to the left of the screen, was active during the 1960s. He conducted psychology research at Arizona State University, the University of Washington, and Kansas University, his last home before his death in 2004. Dr. Wolfe also served as the first editor of the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis. He was heavily influenced by B.F. Skinner. Dr. Wolfe's research yields a cadre of articles and studies. For the purpose of this presentation, I want to focus on 4 major contributions Dr. Wolfe made to the field of applied behavior analysis, most of which are familiar to us and part of our everyday practice. Dr. Montrose Wolfe was a psychologist, but he became known for conducting research in real-world environments such as group homes, classrooms, preschools, and after-school programs. Until Dr. Wolfe's research, most psychology research and studies on behavior were conducted in laboratories with animals. His innovative research methods, using real-world settings with children and caretakers, began to set the expectation for the research designs used in applied behavior analysis. Dr. Wolfe was committed to this type of research design to ensure he was not only finding patterns and drawing conclusions to better inform researchers, but also finding techniques and solutions for caretakers and parents working with children and adolescents. Like most of his research, Wolfe insisted on developing tools that were useful and transferable to caretakers and parents, and the timeout research was no different. The timeout procedure required caretakers to remove children from a reinforcing environment for a certain time limit when inappropriate behaviors were displayed in that environment. From this procedure, Dr. Wolfe concluded that denying the child access to the reinforcing stimuli, class participation, or engaging in play, led to a decrease in problem behavior over time, and eventually eliminating the need for issuing timeouts. The variations of timeouts as seen here have transcended time and are used across the globe as a means to develop appropriate, socially acceptable behavior in children. Dr. Wolfe led many experiments to understand how young children interact with their caretakers and why they choose the methods they do. Dr. Wolfe chose to study crying, a behavior all young children exhibit. Dr. Wolfe understood that there were 2 types of crying in young children. One type of crying is respondent crying, which occurs when a child is legitimately hurt, in danger, or scared. Children engage in operant crying to produce a certain consequence or response, mainly the attention of nearby adults. Dr. Wolfe's research showed that ignoring operant crying allows caretakers to positively reinforce the appropriate responses to classroom issues, such as accidental pushing or issues with sharing. Stimuli that does not require crying to garner an adult's attention for intervention. The socially acceptable behaviors increased, and over time, the operant crying was utilized less and less by children to solve problems or gain attention. Dr. Wolfe led many studies exploring tokens as secondary reinforcers to be used in a token economy. In a token economy, the subjects receive a certain number of tokens during a specific amount of time for engaging in specific target behaviors. The tokens, as described by Dr. Wolfe, range from actual money to simple stickers. The idea is that when children exhibit certain behaviors, they receive a token. Once the child has received a certain number of tokens, they are awarded an even larger, more coveted reward. The research found that positive behavior increased as the subjects accumulated tokens and experienced the positive reinforcement of their chosen reinforcer. Dr. Wolf's research on using tokens as positive reinforcement can be seen in many environments, from schools to senior citizen homes. Although Dr. Wolf is no longer alive, an interview with him would yield interesting revelations into the long-lasting legacy of his work. If I were able to interview Dr. Montrose Wolf, the two most pressing questions I would ask are, how do you explain the worldwide use of your techniques, and what led to the spread of your research? And what have been some of the negative consequences of the spread of and the use of timeouts? I would also be curious if any personal or familial history or circumstances led to his study of behavior and psychology, and what he considers his greatest contribution to applied behavior analysis. Finally, given his connection to the beginning of applied behavior analysis, I'd ask him, if given the opportunity to conduct research one more time, what would he focus on and why? I believe the most intriguing legacy Dr. Wolf left behind was his commitment to families and caretakers of children. He was extremely concerned with generalization in children's behavior and finding helpful techniques for families, teachers, and caretakers working with children and adolescents. Dr. Wolf began implementing training programs for child care workers and parents, not only to give them the skills necessary to work with undesirable behavior, but also to suggest that with training, everyone is capable of using his well-designed and user-driven techniques. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you for tuning in.